This is Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 16. The man that wanders out the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. I'm going to start off giving infinite honors, glory, and praise to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to our apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone, rule well, teaches His truth, 100% no cut. Double shalom and salutation to the Akim, pushing His word across the four winds in true faith and sincerity, giving all diligence. And as we started off with, Proverbs 21 and 16, I'm going to read it again. The man that wanders out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead, man. That's 2/3 of our people as we see, man. Okay, was having a conversation, with brothers Saturday and with a brother yesterday, just through the spirit, something I was meditating on, just discerning spirits, man. All right, by way of presentation, conversation, and actions, those three things right there, just I was meditating on, because I was invited over, to a family member's house, a gathering, on a so-called New Year's Day, and, just was meditating on some things. Like, man, I'm not finna go over there. My house is not finna go over there because the atmosphere, okay, and the environment, is not right. Okay. They don't fear the Lord, man. So anything is bound, to happen, be said that's out of the way, that'll cause, some BS, to kick off, So I remain, at the house, but it just, through the spirit, Lord willing, is edifying, because like I said, I was meditating on just the presentation, acting all, love, as if they have, brotherly love or, love, for one another. But through conversations, individual being absent, the conversation changes, it don't match the presentation, and then the actions match more of the conversation, of wickedness, man, so there's no point in that, man, because I was talking to brothers, man, you can gift wrap a plate of shit, put it in the box, wrap the box up with some nice wrap and put a bow on it, as if it's a gift, something good, something, desirable. But once you get to the root of it, okay, the inside of it, it's shit. It's just an analogy, man. Lord willing, it makes sense, and it's 2/3 of our people, man. Okay, these heathens as well, but 2/3 of our people, man, they're in the congregation of the dead. All right, and we're able to see these things through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shah, and remove ourselves from, these people. That's why the scriptures say, be not unequally yoked with non-believers, man. All right, and then we understand the times that we're in, redeeming the times, because the days are evil, man. Hey, any given moment and point in time, the Lord can judge these 2/3, and you don't want to be in the presence of the, 2/3 getting judged, man. For you to feel the fire of it, the effects of it, man. Hey, leave. If it ain't no business, hey, leave them where they at. They stay where they at and you be where you at. If it ain't nothing, business wise or, of course, brothers have family members, that might not be in the truth, but it's respectful. It's all into your discernment, how you deal with, how you deal and how you walk, as an individual, but I'm just speaking about this particular, situation, in my life, now I'm good, just because of the presentation, conversation, and the actions, man, it don't align, with my mindset, with the spirit and power of Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shah, knowing who I am, knowing, what's good for me and what's not, and that's not a good situation, because like I said, anything can be said or happen, now you're in a mess of BS. That's just me, my body, me speaking as a man, to that situation, without detail, but yeah, man. So, yeah, man, all according to your discernment, we got family members that we do deal with, not over righteous, being over righteous about it, but those that, just blatantly disrespectful and just ain't right, like conniving, sneaky, trifling, you leave that alone, just being wise about it, but let's get into it. And again, going back to, it's easy for us to see, all right, because we have the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah upon us to be able to discern these things, to cut through all the bullshit, okay, by watching, listening, all right, those two things right there, man. All right, okay, well, the presentation, all right, well, this is how they present themselves, act, okay. But when it gets down to the root of it, what about the conversation? Okay, what about the actions behind the conversation? Do these things align? You know, and it's easy to discern. And let's get that real quick. This is Hebrews 4:12. NLT, it reads, "For the word of the Most High is alive and powerful. It is sharper than the sharpest two-edged sword, cutting between soul and spirit, between joint and marrow. It exposes our innermost thoughts and desires," man. Not only just us, but using this wielding this sword properly, the spirit, moving in the spirit properly, and you able to discern outside of yourself. Because in order for you to truly discern, to grow in discernment, you got to be able to discern yourself as well. Know what's good for you and what's not. Okay, make sure you're operating in the spirit, to the best of your ability, properly moving about, man. Okay, checking yourself. All right, and then when it comes to allowing for you to be corrected, not being prideful, boastful, these things, man, being humble and meek, man. All right, and understanding, man, hey, man, this is the spirit, this is the will of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah, good or bad, as long as you continue to believe, have faith. Hey, man, the Lord is dealing. Okay, but, this word, gives us that discernment, man, within and without. Okay, to be able to move properly, to be able to judge matters and situations. Okay, now let's get this. This is 1 Corinthians 2:14 through 15 NLT. "But people who are in spiritual can't receive these truths from the Most High Spirit. It all sounds foolish to them, and they can't understand it. For only those who are spiritual can understand what the Spirit means," man. All right, and these people you can teach on the highway. We all had those stages where certain family members, seen us on the highways, asked us questions, and we had that fire. You trying to teach them, but they in the same sense they're mocking you as they're asking you questions. They're mocking you. They playing. They don't respect the ways of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah. 2/3 don't, man. Okay, they don't acknowledge the Lord in none of His ways, man. All right, because it's not fitting to their lifestyle. And Jake. These Jakes nowadays, man, they just set in their ways, man. Young or old or young. Jake is just set in their ways of being wicked. Wanting attention, attention whores and shit, man. I want to have something to talk about, just all type of madness. Want to have something to flash and show, That's Jake for you, man. So there's no point. So to the best of your ability, they stay away from Jakes like that, man. It just unruly and just vile ass niggas, man. All right, again, we have family members that we deal with, that's not on that level. They might not believe, fully, or they might not be teaching the word, but they respect you as a man. They respect you as a man of the Lord. All right, so, again, it's all to, each individual's discernment in their situation. But for only those who are spiritual can understand what the Spirit means. Those who are spiritual can evaluate all things, but they themselves cannot be evaluated by others, man. A 2/3 can't tell you nothing. Can't tell a man of the Lord a damn thing, man. Far as, trying to, according to the Spirit, Now, we learn from, different individuals that's outside of the truth, certain, handiworks, different things of that nature. But far as when it comes down to the doctrine, when it comes down to how to move in the spirit, it's nothing they can really teach you, man. Okay. It's nothing they can teach you, man. Or nothing they can try and correct you on, man, because you on top of yourself, checking yourself. All right, the body, we being corrected, by the body, by yourself, by Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah, ultimately, man, and you making those proper adjustments, man. Okay. Yeah, Salaki had a interruption, but this is John 6:63. I got one more precept, and I'm gonna end it. I gotta go take care of a few things. Salakia. Lord willing, this was edifying. The NLT says the Spirit alone gives eternal life. Human efforts accomplishes nothing. And the very words I have spoken to you are spirit and they are life, man. So we abide, in the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah by applying the scriptures, which is what? Spirit and life. Okay, which is what? The our sword and our defense, our habitation, our dwelling. Okay. This is what gives us that spiritual discernment, man. Okay. But we're gonna end it right here. This is Ecclesiastes 8 and 1 through 5 KJV. And we get straight to the point. It says, whoso keepeth the commandment shall feel no evil thing, and a wise man's heart discerneth both time and judgment, man. All right, and that's what we're in those times of great evil, perils, man. So, we have to continue to what? To apply these scriptures, apply the precepts, pray fast. Okay, walk in the spirit, man. Okay, stay humble and meek and stay circumspect. All right. And it comes from what? Hey, meditating in his word, man. Applying his word. But with that, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to the point. Till next time, shalom.